Assalamu alaikum once again. Before I give it to my brothers, my new brothers, Brother David and Casey, I have something for them that I would like Imam Khalil Akbar to pass it to them. These are Shahada package. This has books and Musalla, Sajjada and Quran translation. So Imam Khalil Akbar, please pass it to give it to our guests, brothers David and Casey.
Thank you.
I asked David and Casey to tell us, give us the knowledge of what brought down the interest towards Islam. And I gave them some few questions as an outline to tell us so that inshallah we can also learn as to how we can spread this truth of Islam to people around us. So I would, and by the way, I think already said that they are grandfather and grandson. And mashallah, we had a lunch together today. Wonderful people, mashallah, we enjoyed and they also enjoyed. And again, thank you for coming and thank you for taking this opportunity to be with us and accepting this invitation to speak to us. So I invite Brother David as well as Brother Casey to feel free to change mics, or I have two mics here, so you can use both of them. I'll give one to people, please, let me show you. Casey, just in case if you want to add something, feel free to do that.
Well, I'd first like to say I'm humbled and honored to be here, and I can't say enough of thanks to Harun and all his kindness and the people I met with at lunch today. Casey and I, well, Casey was aware of Islam before I was. In a way, we are a result of the outreach. Harun kindly sent DVDs and materials to me. Like I said, Casey was aware of most of what I learned from these DVDs and the pamphlets, and also following his advice of studying certain things on the internet. And it's so much appreciated. Also, we'd like Casey and I to give a gift towards to the center here. I'm not sure who to give it to. Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure. I'd like to begin by saying a few things. Like Harun did give me some questions that maybe I should address, and I apologize if I say anything that's offensive. I don't mean to. I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but I will say a few things though. One of the questions was, how did you first get interested in learning about Islam? Truthfully, initially my interest came from my grandson. He had heard a lot about Islam, and I'll be honest, it was not all positive, and it was slanted and untruthful, as we know. But he, in his wisdom at a young age, 17, he wanted to find out the truth himself. So he began to search and study, as I said, watching videos, reading material, and beginning to read the Quran. Casey would come to me and ask me questions about the Christian faith that I had been involved in since 1970. He'd have questions as it related to what he was learning from the Quran and Islam. He'd give these questions to me, and those questions, as well as some of the concerns I had had for a long time within the Christian faith, and it was mentioned a little bit earlier, the Trinity. Many, three gods in one. There are volumes of books written trying to justify the Trinity, and they're all quite confusing. Also, why in the Christian faith so many different denominations? Why in the denominations there seems to be so many arguments about doctrine, beliefs? So many denominations can't agree on even what would seem something as simple as what day to worship on. So those had troubled me for the longest time. And there was many disagreements. Then there was a concern I'd always had about how the Bible was put together. That was a big concern. And then, of course, I saw many faiths begin over the years and the decades to accept behavior that was clearly unacceptable to what I read in the Bible. Acceptance of lifestyles and behavior that was immoral. And then priests and clergy were adopting or were part of this bad behavior. Behavior that was clearly contrary to what was preached in the Bible. And why that continues. One thing the Bible does say, that God is not the author of confusion. And that's what I was getting a lot of from observing faiths and the clergy around me. I also was interested in the devotion I observed in Muslims, that the devotion they had for their faith, praying 5 times a day, 5 pillars of faith, observing Ramadan, and other things. As a whole, I saw Muslims as being passionate about their faith, steadfast, not changing with the times. I mean, when I came into the faith and was in a particular denomination, that denomination is 360 degrees different today than it was when I came in 1970. Well, if we're trying to follow the Bible, what explains it? How can that be? Another thing, Muslims appear to be, or were living out Jesus' words when he said, you shall love thy God with all your heart, strength, and soul. Another thing that I was asked to speak on here briefly was, what did I learn about Islam? As I said, I learned many things about Islam. As I said, like the 5 pillars of faith, the Quran, social customs, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. What I learned, or what I was reminded of, and this is so important, was that the purpose of life is to worship Allah. He is our protector. As we all know, it's so easy in this present age with all the pressures and stressors to lose track of what is most important in this life. To me, Islam teaches us to live totally for Allah, and that because of our love for Him, we help others. It appears that worship in Islam is more than just offering prayers to Allah. It's observed in everything that we do. And how did reading the Quran help you? And I've been reading the Quran for a little bit. Some of the things I found, it revealed to me the nature of Allah, that He is merciful. It reminded me of what the entire focus of this life should be, and what awaits us after this life. That there's more than just this life. And God has revealed Himself through His prophets. Another question was, tell us what you thought about the Quran before reading it and now after. Before, and it seemed to be foreign and something that I didn't think I'd be able to relate to. But when I thought about it, I thought I read the Bible. It came from the same area. What am I saying? But as I said, Allah is merciful and patient with us. He guides us in how to live and how to be.